let's shoot. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my studio. If you're new here, my name is Victoria and this is my small bath and body care brand Renascential, and today it's a photo studio, specifically. I've been teasing for a few weeks now a video all about my photography process, and today's the day. Today I'm getting all new photos for my body scrubs. I have been showing you guys in my recent vlogs that I have been totally reworking that formula, and now that I have them relaunched at my local events, I need to get them up on my site so that customers can start buying them from there. But because the formula is so different and now the products actually have color added to them, I need all new photos. So that's what we're going to be working on, and I'm going to go through my props, my camera, all my equipment. I have a lot to show you and tons of links already in the description for you, so let's jump in. Now I want to start with a very important disclaimer. I am just a girl with a good eye and a camera. I'm not a photographer. Some people would totally agree, some might say I'm being humble, but truly I have only dabbled in photography. I took a few photography classes in high school. I was the editor-in-chief of my yearbook in high school, no big deal. But when it comes to actually learning the ins and outs and the true science behind photography, I'm not the one. So the actual technique of how to take photos, it really just comes down to how I like the way that it looks. But there are specific things that you should know how to do when it comes to working a camera. So ISO, aperture, shutter speed, we know these keywords, but you need to know how they work for you. So I really recommend you guys look into Skillshare, and I also have 2 channels below linked for you that I found really helpful when I started out that are kind of photography as a whole, but these creators do create content that is more specific to product photography. So it's really helpful, check those out. But I won't be going too much into exactly how I take pictures in terms of my settings because I'm just not the best person to teach you that. So I'm gonna leave it to the pros, check them out. That being said, let's dive into step 1. So first things first, anytime that I start a shoot, the first thing that I start with is mood boarding. I find this to be so important because otherwise I tend to just go into a shoot not knowing what I really need, and then I'm just kind of throwing things at the wall to see what sticks. So if I go in with a clear vision of what I know I need, what I want the pictures to look like, it helps me stay on concept, on track, and saves me a lot of time in the long run. Now you can make this as big or small as you want it to be. You can just find some Instagram pages that feature images that are similar to the vibe you're going for. You can look to some of your favorite brands and see the type of photos that they take and how they do their lighting and setups. You could have a full-on poster board and actually paste images up there and put it up on a wall so that you can actually see it while you're shooting. Or if you're like me, I just use Pinterest. I have really just gone to Pinterest and I typed in lifestyle product photography as a whole. Can you hear that? I hope you can hear that. I have to keep going. I'll just take a break. So, something that I typed in... Hold, please. So, my searches on Pinterest have been pretty specific. I'll look up product photography ideas, lifestyle photography ideas, product photography with model, product styled in water. There are so many different ways, and again, this is where it helps to just have an idea of what you want your photos to look like or the type of theme you're going for so that you know what to be looking for your mood board. So for example, for today's shoot, I'm really focused on getting texture shots of my new body scrubs. So I typed into Pinterest product texture photography, and the results are perfect. It's great. Actually, right here on the first page, there are some shots that are even wonderful for my body oils, for my perfume oils, but of course I'm looking for ways to spread out the sugar scrub and really make it look beautiful on camera. So once you do that, you can start getting more specific. If you have a candle business, you would throw in candle. You might want to find different ways to capture the flame when it's lit. So really take this and spin it however it works best for you and your brand. But once you have a good idea of the kind of vibe you're going for, do you want light and airy? Do you want pops of color and really eclectic style? Are you going for more upscale luxury spa vibes? All of this is up to you. Figure out what you want and then start finding the images or any inspiration that you can on the internet and build out your mood board. I think the biggest thing here is to push yourself to not copy. I think it's really easy for us to find the exact image that we want. And yes, sometimes you can just copy a concept and make it your own. That's totally fine. But I do think it's kind of like when you're in school and your teachers warn you to not cheat because you're never going to learn anything. It's kind of the same thing here. You might find success recreating other people's images, but I think there's something so rewarding that comes from flipping an idea and making it your own, introducing your own life and vibe into these images and not just copying and pasting what you're seeing other people do. But I'll also say that I really don't think now in 2024 that there are many completely new, never thought of before, never executed ideas. This is just my opinion, but I really do think to a certain degree, everything comes from some sort of inspiration. Everything is a remix. And actually, that reminds me of a really cool video that I'll have linked for you in the description called Everything is a Remix. It perfectly illustrates this idea that we're all finding inspiration from other things, whether it's in music, in art, in business, everything is a remix of something else. So watch that. It really helps you get out of your head and get out of the cycle of feeling like you're a copier, a cheater, because we're not. But at the same time, I think, like I said, there is something really beautiful about knowing that this was the inspo picture, but this is how I flipped it. This is what my mood board showed, but this is what made more sense once I started shooting. Magic happens when you open up your mind and your imagination and all the cliche things I could say. Just have fun with it and don't directly copy other people's business. All right, let me climb down off this soapbox. So, like I said, get step one out of the way. It's like business scrapbooking. Get your mood board. If you are having a hard time coming up with different ways to display your products using some of the things that I'll be talking about soon, I will have a few Instagram accounts linked for you below that are just really good for motivation and giving you a good starting point. And then again, I lean heavily on Pinterest for this portion. There's so much good content out there and I love to get started there. And like I mentioned, also for you below right now are two channels of people that I've just found really, really helpful. Amanda Campiano, I think is how you pronounce her last name, is an amazing Australian-based product photographer. And she has a channel and a course that you can actually take all about product photography, all about lighting setups, how she styles her shots. It's just so much versatile content on there and it's really easy to translate to any business. So if you're candles, if you're body care like me, there's something there that you'll find helpful. And then the other one that I found recently is Chris Pieta. Again, I hope I'm pronouncing these names correctly, but his channel is more broadly about photography, but then he does have a specific video that I saw recently all about product photography specifically. So check these out. I'll have them both linked for you below. All right, let's get into the fun stuff, starting with gear. Right now, I'm filming on the camera that I used to shoot. So for reference, I use the Canon M50, but the M series is no longer available. So the one that I recommend is the Canon EOS R50. To be honest, it really kind of looks the same. I'm looking at a picture of it here off screen and then back at my camera. The build of it is basically identical. There's a few small differences that you might notice, but the biggest thing is that it still has the flip out camera. That's really helpful for when I'm filming. I can see myself, make sure I'm in frame, but then the actual functionality of the camera looks to be exactly the same as the M50. This is an investment. It is around the same price that I paid for my M50 and it's not cheap. It's not cheap. So another thing that I'll recommend is that if you have a good phone, if you have an iPhone, if you have any of these Samsung phones that take better pictures than my iPhone does, you might be in a good enough place to start with taking photos on your phone. There might be just a different DSLR camera that you want to get that could be cheaper. You can thrift these. So find something that works in your price range, and people always say you don't have to start with the best thing. You can definitely scale up and then your pictures will get even better. I think a lot of the magic can happen in post when you're editing, but for the most part, these phones are taking great pictures. I've actually filmed portions of my vlogs on my phone, but you can really only tell a difference probably because the audio sounds different because I use a different external microphone. But besides that, the quality of the image is really good. And sometimes depending on what lenses you have, you can get better wide angle lenses using your phone anyway. So use your phone if you need to. It's definitely not a bad option. So camera, check. The next thing that I have is a 45mm lens, which I know the nifty 50mm is the one that you always hear people talking about. You need it, the depth of field, all of that is true. The lens that I have actually came with my camera, and it's the same deal for the Canon R50 that I linked for you. It comes with the 45 and it really does the job for me. Check out my website, my Instagram. Any pictures that you see of my products that have been taken were taken with this camera, with this lens. So this is another lesson in you don't always need the thing that everyone's talking about. I started with the kit lens and it's working really, really well. The next thing you might need is a tripod, which again, mine's being used, but you'll see it in these other clips. This one gets up to about 70 inches tall and I love it. I've had it for a minute now. The quality is great and it wasn't that expensive. I love how small it collapses down, and then it comes with a travel bag, I believe, so it's really easy to bring on the go. I'm never gonna finish this video. Of course, if you are shooting on a camera, you'll need SD cards. I use a 128 gig card when I am filming vlogs because I just want more space and not have to stop and upload the footage and then I'm panicking. When I'm filming vlogs, I don't want to have to stop and change it out, upload the footage, and keep going back and forth. So I use a 128 gig for video, but when I'm just getting product photos, I shoot those on a 64 gig. Of course, with an SD card, you will need an SD card reader to get it off of the card onto your laptop when you start editing. So I have a really good one linked for you below that is USB connected, and it takes both SD cards and micro SDs just in case you need that. Next up is lighting, and this is actually probably the most important thing on this list. Without good lighting, you can have the best of the best camera, you can have all the knowledge of how to work that camera, but if you don't have good lighting, your pictures aren't going to be great. So this is where I recommend, if you only get one thing on this list, get some good lights. So the lighting kit that I've had, no joke, I've had it for about 10 years and it hasn't failed me once. It comes with 2 of these umbrella lights, which the other one's off screen. It's currently lighting me up as we speak. And then it also comes with 1 more light on a shorter stand, just in case you want to put it on a tabletop or anything else like that. As you see, it comes with the umbrella diffusing light, which is so good so that you don't have harsh lights with shadows. You actually get a nice even diffused light with those umbrellas. If you do check out Amanda Campiano's channel that I linked for you below, one light that she recommended in a few of her videos that I just got is the Godox SL60W, and it is a very bright continuous light, and I believe it comes with different diffusers you can use, but I think it'll be great for getting shots where I'm trying to capture shadows of maybe a palm plant or something layering over top of my products. But again, I haven't fully used it, but I've seen her use it enough to know that that's why I bought it. I have a very particular vision in my head of the type of images that I would be capturing using this light, but overall, I don't think that these lights with the umbrellas would do the trick that this light is able to do. So it's just good to have another option. All right, now moving into some of the different stands and backdrops that I use. Now there are so many places that you can get your backdrops from, and one that I know is really popular is Replica Surfaces. I don't have one, so again, I can't speak to how much I like them, but I know that you end up with a perfect like 90-degree angle setup that you can get. So you end up having a backdrop and also the flat surface to shoot on, and they look great. Personally, every single backdrop that I use has come from Everyday Co., which is another Australian-based brand that I learned about through Amanda's channel. I have 7 of these, and when I tell you the quality they're great. These are all vinyl, so they are water resistant, they're product resistant. Like I mentioned, today I will be smearing my body scrubs all over them, and I'll be able to wipe it off without leaving any sort of stain. There are so many beautiful colors and different collections that they have on their site for you to get. So you can get tile, marble looks, you can get stone. There are even some that look like it's water. There are just so many options on their site, and like I said, I have 7 of them and I've used every single one for something. My next recommendation is another thing that you got a sneak peek of in my last vlog, but it is a T-shaped stand to hold up the backdrops that I use. The replica surface systems that I mentioned a bit ago come with a really nice bracket kind of deal so that you can set it up in that 90-degree format that I mentioned, but these that I use are just the long vinyl backdrop by themselves. So I use these T-shaped bars to actually clamp the backdrops to them, and then they can hang down. And of course, if I'm just doing a overhead top down kind of shot, I don't need that. But if I do want a backdrop as a backdrop, that's the perfect way to set it up. The one that I use comes with these really handy clamps that you will need a ton of if you're using backdrops, if you're using the next recommendation I have. So we'll circle back to this, but these come with the T-shaped bar that I have linked for you. So just another good investment. Another stand that could be very helpful for you is a C stand. I actually just watched a photo styling video from Amanda's channel where she has one of these C stands and she uses it to actually style some florals in her photo. I'm not going to explain it well, so I'll drop a screenshot here, but she uses these C stands so that she doesn't have to be on the other side of the camera actually holding these things up in her shot. She uses the C stand with some clamps so that she can style different things in her shot. And of course, she takes it out of perspective that she can edit out the stand and the clamps and all of that and just leave the florals in the shot. I don't have one myself yet, but best believe I'm getting one very soon, because while I've been focusing more on my e-com product shots for my website, I do need to start getting some more lifestyle photos so that as I start posting more on social media, I don't just have these white background, perfectly executed product photos. I can have more of these that look like they actually happened in the moment. So being able to introduce other elements like, you know, sprigs of lavender or anything like that in the shot would be really, really beautiful and help to create that aesthetic lifestyle vibe. The last thing I've linked for you in this section are the clamps that I mentioned a second ago. Of course, if you get the T-stand, that will come with, I believe, 4 or 5 already, but then this pack gives you 6 more, and these are just really helpful. Or you might break one, or you just need more for your C-stand. So these are just really helpful to have a good amount of on hand. Now the fun really starts when you get into props. Now I'm going to show you some of the things that I've bought and that I use, but like I mentioned, today I'm really just getting a very specific type of shot, so I won't need any of these in this video. But I do plan to do more photography vlogs with you guys, especially as I start ramping up my social media posting. But for now, I will talk you through some of the things I've got and how I would use them and give you some examples of those in action. First up are risers, blocks, and other background props. This basket of them is packed full, but I did pull out some examples of different ones that I currently use. When it comes to risers and blocks, I have some that are like this, and they are foam. There are smaller ones, and then I also have acrylic ones that, again, these were shown in my last vlog that I use to prop up my products on top of. Another really cute one that I have actually came from the Everyday Co as well, so this will be linked for you, but it's a little wiggle dish as they call it, and I think it's so cute. And I think I used this for my body oils at one point, but it's another cute way to elevate your products. Then when it comes to background props, I have a few. This one came from the Everyday Co, and I love how beautiful and how big of an arch it is. This one, I can distinctly remember the photo I took on it, so I will find it and drop it for you here. But I think it's beautiful to have in the background of your shots. You can have it blurred out, and it creates just a really nice depth to your picture. Other ones that I have are this one that you probably saw in my thumbnail, which is a really nice kind of water effect that it gives your shot. and I find this to be so interesting. I haven't seen things like this being used that often, so I'm still looking for fun ways to implement it in my photography. And then going back to foam, I got a nice big set of all of these foam ones that you're seeing, even the ones that are still in this basket. But I love, love, love these wiggle ones that I have that kind of fit into each other like a puzzle piece. But again, I can picture these just styled in the background, maybe separated so you can see the break between them. But I think these are really cute and a nice way to create, like I said, some more depth of field in your photos. I actually saw this one used in one of Amanda's videos where she was shooting for a jewelry brand, and she laid out the necklace in the shape of this, which was a really nice way to feature the product and shoot it in a more unique way. So again, sometimes you can really use your props to help dictate the way that you're shooting. I just showed this one a second ago, but I do have another acrylic column that's shorter, almost like a little coaster, but I love these because they're clear, so they don't really introduce any visual impact to the photo. You really still focus on what you're shooting, whatever your subject is, but it does give it just a little bit of height. If you want the exact link for the set of these foam background riser things that I have, I actually got them from AliExpress, but I did find some that are really comparable on Amazon as well. The AliExpress ones are very cheap, just be prepared to wait a bit longer for shipping. But again, if you want options, there are some on Amazon that I found for you, link below. Another thing that you can use in the background of your photos, or you could even put your products on top of this to get more just visually interesting shots, is a mirror. Here are some fun examples that I found, again, on Pinterest that show some really unique ways to use mirrors in your shots. I haven't done this myself, but look at the material. They're so nice. I do have a few different size mirrors linked for you below that I own myself. I have one that's a nice big rectangular one. It's back there. I just don't want to pick it up and risk breaking it. But I also have circular ones like this and this. Say hi. I find it really helpful to have a few different sizes for different kind of shots you might need. Okay, let me show you a few trays that I have. As a body care brand, I love seeing different body care or skincare products that are styled and shot in or around water. Here are some examples of what I'm talking about, and I think the best way to get shots like this is to use an acrylic tray. As you can see, this is completely clear, and once it's wiped out and looking good, you can easily fill it with some water and then shoot either from bottom up or from top down, and you could create some subtle movement with the water using a blow dryer, or have someone or yourself right off out of the shot, kind of moving the tray so that the water inside is slightly moving. There are just a lot of different ways that you can utilize this, and it's something that I'm really excited to play with myself. I got this one from Amazon and it was really inexpensive. There's another one that is sold on the Everyday Co website, but between us friends, the one on Amazon is really good quality. It's nice and thick. It was perfectly clear acrylic, so I would recommend starting here. This is a good price point for the type of product that you're getting. Speaking of trays, I have a few more that I've gotten from Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Target, Walmart even, that are all different textures or made with different stones. So again, they really come in handy when I'm looking for more versatile pictures and different options to shoot my products on top of. Something that I'm a sucker for is a photo with a beautiful shadow. Whether it is of blinds letting light come in, or in this case, greenery. So I have faux greenery stems like this that when lit correctly from behind, they create the most beautiful, picturesque shadow in your photo, and you can use that to layer on top of your products. Here are some examples of what I'm talking about. I think that this has just such an ethereal, spa, vacation kind of vibe, and that's what I'm going for with my brand. Bringing us full circle, the Godox light that I mentioned earlier in the lighting section is the type of light that I would recommend using. It's bright enough and it's focused enough that I'm pretty sure it'll help you get these type of photos that are crisp and high quality, and they show the greenery in all of its glory. Another thing that I thought was a really cute idea was to get some of these tiny, I don't think they're resin, but they are just faux water droplets. I hope the camera picks them up okay, but you can see these are really, they look like little marbles, but they are little different sized droplets that are meant to imitate water. So it might be cute to have a few drops here and there instead of actually needing to drip water and then water will move around. This will stay in place. So just another cute option, different thing that you can use. And then that actually reminds me, another thing that you can sprinkle around your photo to create more visual interest is anything that ties back to your product itself. So for example, my black amber and lavender scent, I could use actual fresh lavender and sprinkle that in the shot to bring out that element of the product. This might be something you already noticed some of your favorite brands are doing, but let's say there is a face mask that features honey in it. I have seen photos where they will actually completely drench and cover that product container in honey to really drive home that fact that, hey, this features honey. Same thing if a body scrub has a watermelon scent, maybe they'll actually pose the product on top of fresh slices of watermelon. So think outside the box and find different ways that you can even introduce elements of your product into your photo. Okay, before we start shooting, I have 3 more suggestions for you that are really just good tools that you should have on your set. First up is this big old pack of different spoons and scrapers and rakes. These are really for art, I believe, but I use them to help spread out my product and the type of shots that I'll be taking today. So I have some that are different and have this sort of, different design to them. I have some that are straight across, and this is probably what I'll be using today to get my shots. There are some that look like rakes. Either way, this pack has so many different ones that you can use. I'm sure there are at least 12 different ones in there, all different styles, and they will help you spread out your product in a way that is unique. So these aren't completely necessary. You could very easily use a butter knife or a spoon that you have there at home, but I did pick up this pack of these because there's so many, they were inexpensive, and I don't know, it feels official. The next thing is some sticky putty, which again, this was featured in my last vlog, but I throw this on the back of my products so that I can keep them stationary. Everything that I use comes in either a circular bottle or jar. So of course, if I lay them flat, they just start to roll over the place. But something like this is great to make sure that you can put your products down and keep them where you put them down. And the last thing is pretty self-explanatory, so we'll breeze past it, but it's just some double-sided tape. I use this for when I'm doing my top-down overhead shots. I will use it to stick down the corners of my backdrops so that they don't roll up on the sides on me, because I, for the most part, keep them rolled up at all times, so the corners will start to roll up on their own. So this is a nice thing that I just like to keep that laying flat. Okay, I feel like I flew through that, so if you have any questions, please let me know. All the links to everything I mentioned are down below, and it's time to shoot. So let's actually put some of this stuff in action. Okay, so ignore the mic. I want good audio for you guys, but here is what I've already planned out and gotten ready for the shoot. So I have all of my 8-ounce jars of the scrubs ready to go, and I also went ahead and measured out just enough product so that I can use this as the spillover from the jar instead of actually digging into these jars. So there's a little pro tip. If you have any extra, which if you saw my last vlog, you know I ended that production formulation day with extra of each of the scrubs that I made. So I'm going to be using that to actually make it look like it's spilling out of the jar. We'll see how that works. I might need to end up scooping just a bit of the top layer that's inside the jar so that it looks like this truly came from that jar. But worst case scenario, these will end up being my personal ones anyway, so I'm not too worried about messing up the jar. I need to make more for more markets and more sales anyway. The only shots I'm really focused on today are the texture shots, and then I'm probably going to get a new standalone picture of each scrub too, because right now you can see the color just on the top and the bottom of it. So I want to make sure that my old images aren't showing an outdated product. So one picture on the white background and then one overhead close-up of the texture. For tools, you guys know I mentioned these. I have all of my fancy spatulas ready to go for the texture shots. I got the sticky putty ready to go for any shot that I need it to be ready for, but this is on hand. And then for fun, just in case I need some more visual elements and things to add to the photos, I have the acrylic blocks that I mentioned. and 3 different options of acrylic trays for the same purpose. I'll use these for the texture shots. I think they might just create a little bit more of a break between the product, the texture, and the backdrop. I'm gonna try to find some similar things like these for you guys. Sadly, the company that I bought them from, and it was a minute ago that I bought them, is no longer in service. Their site is completely shut down. So it's a bummer because these are really good. They're good quality. There were so many different options on that site, but I'm going to try to find something comparable for you and have it linked below. All right, that's enough talking. Let's shoot.
Is this what you want now? Feels like you're looking for something better.
Okay, that was fairly easy, very quick. I am now going to move into the texture shots, and for those, I'll be using this white tile background. So I'm gonna flip this over and keep it going.
I can't keep pretending it's not getting to me. It's never ending. Can't give you what you need. You're misbehaving. Yeah, it's getting to me. It's never ending. You can give anything, so you can go, go, go. Go, 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 yeah. So I can focus, I just need to focus on myself. Yeah, you better go, go, go. Go, 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 go. So I can focus, I just need to focus on myself. This is what I want now. And yeah, I'm waiting for something better. Yeah. This is what I want now. No, I won't settle for anything else. I can't keep pretending it's not getting to me. It's never ending. Can't give you what you need. Oh, no, no.
I'm really liking these business tips videos because on one hand, I get to give you guys really helpful information, and on the other hand, I get to get work done. So it's really productive. We have a good thing going here. As always, I'm gonna give you guys a little sneak peek at what we're working with here with my photos today. I am really happy with how they came out, especially the texture shots. I was really determined to get a different angle and a different type of shot for every picture. So I'm really happy with them. Let me know what you guys think. My next step is to load these in and start editing. Again, that's not something that I'm really feeling confident teaching you guys. For the most part, it's pretty simple because I shot on white backgrounds and I had my camera settings set up in a way that I shouldn't have to do too much editing in post. But if you do need help with editing, there are so many channels, so many people making that content. So I really recommend other creators and Skillshare. But for now, I'm going to wrap up this video. That is everything I have to share. I have links for you down below. If there's anything I missed, please let me know and I'll drop one down there for you. Thank you again for watching. I really hope you found this helpful and any questions you had got answered. If not, you guys know I'm almost an open book, so let me know in the comments if there's any other questions that you have. Give me a like, a comment, share with a friend, and subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!